Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Adventures in Book Hunting. I want to start off this particular video with a wanted poster. I tried to put it in the thumbnail, but here hopefully is a better view of it. As you can see, this is a wanted poster for uh, a a criminal mastermind who shares my name. And as you can see, the reward for this criminal mastermind is $5, and he's holding a book. Now, the children who composed this letter are a boy and girl who are the children of a work colleague of mine, and I hunt books for lots of people, and they are two of the people I hunt books for. In fact, his young daughter has kind of gotten a taste for Nancy Drew because I've been getting her Nancy Drew books. And when I got I thought it was funny, of course. I had a good laugh, but I wondered, well, what do they think I do? How do I get the books I get? And I've had this poster for several weeks, but I made a really interesting book find yesterday that, because of the way I have reacted to it emotionally, it made me think about these children and their wanted poster. Because this particular find gave me a tinge of guilt. Um, the last week book hunting has been kind of slim. Not found a lot of interesting stuff. And of course, you have that. If you're hunting anything, sometimes you come up dry. Um, but yesterday, I thought about stopping at a place where I found some good stuff before, but I didn't think I was going to be able to access it, or if I did access it, I didn't expect to find anything really all that interesting. There is a local college who have um, a free giveaway table in the foyer of the library. And a lot of what you find there is often textbooks or very academically related stuff. Semester's over. They had graduation a couple weeks ago. And I didn't think the summer term had started yet. So I didn't even expect to be able to find the building open. But to my surprise, it was open. And when I went in and took a look at uh, the free table, I realized very quickly it had lots and lots of very interesting stuff, at least to me. And I started gathering a pile, and before I knew it, I had quite the stack of books. And I felt a little tinge of guilt. I said, should I really take all this good stuff? And so I decided to treat it as a little free library. And so I went, and whenever I travel, I typically got a pretty good selection of books just for that purpose. And so I tried to at least balance it somewhat. I donated a few books to the free bookshelf, but I got quite the stack of books from that shelf, and I just wanted to share them with you. Like I say, it was a very, very pleasant surprise. First off, where to start? I guess we'll take a look at these first. And I have a theory about why the hunting in this particular place was so good at this particular time and place. But first, we had a couple of the Outlander books by Diana Gabaldon, including the first one, Outlander, and one of the subsequent books, Fiery Cross. And big, chunky mass market paperbacks, and they're in decent enough shape. Um, and these I'm going to donate to the Hatter. Um, they used to, they still have the Outlander poster on the wall. They used to have an Outlander shrine, but I'll get those. Still very popular. I'm sure they can find a good home for these. Um, like I say, they're mass market, but they're pretty heavy duty. Anyway, those are the first two things. And next, I think primarily because it is a higher education setting, a lot of classics. Um, and let's go through some of those now. First, I found this nice little copy of John Steinbeck's The Pearl. Um, and it's a penguin. And of course, if I didn't already have one, I might be tempted to keep it. It's not necessarily a Penguin Classic line penguin, but I keep these as placeholders until I can find a real Penguin Classic sometimes. But I already have an omnibus volume that has Steinbeck's The Pearl and the Red Pony. So I'll donate this one to the Hatter. Okay. Next, I got this very nice Penguin Classic, Black Spine, of course, of The Dubliners by James Joyce. Probably one of the few James Joyces I might actually be tempted to read. But, knowing me and my obsession with Penguin Classic, I'm going to keep this one. I have actually already have a Penguin Classic. Well, let's see if can't lay hands on it right away. But it's a Penguin Modern Classic. It has the light blue spine. So I'm going to swap out. I'm going to take my Penguin Modern Classic, send it off to the Hatter, and I will replace it with this very nice edition. All right, next, a trio of Shakespeare. First we have Henry IV, parts 1 and 2 in Collins Classics. And one of my very favorite Shakespeare plays, Henry V, also in a Collins Classics edition. I even have it. And I went ahead last night and I marked my favorite passage. And if you wouldn't mind, and indulge me, I'm going to read a few lines from the most famous portion of the play. Uh, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be here ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, whilst any speaks that they fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day. Love that. Love this play. It's one of those great battle speeches. Up there, right up there in my top 10 with Aragorn's Black Gate speech and Theoden's Red Day speech at the Battle of Pelennor Fields. Anyway, love this play. And in times gone by, I would have kept this one forever. But I have an omnibus Shakespeare volume. I have all the plays, all the sonnets. And so I've been donating my individual ones. In fact, I don't have any individual Shakespeare's left. And this very nice one, along with Henry IV, parts 1 and 2, will go to the Hatter. And I also found one of these. These I'm finding more and more these days. This is a No Fear Shakespeare. This, of course, is Othello, another good one. But they're published by Spark Notes. And what makes this different than your typical edition of Othello is that it is in two languages. Well, I guess you'd say two languages. There is the original text of the play on this side, and on this side, a modern English translation. And I get it. It's not the edition I would have, and I found this in a student setting, and for somebody who's new to Shakespeare, makes the entrance a little easier for sure. But I guess I get the argument. English in 1600 is a little different than English in 2025, such that they are almost different languages, or at least certainly different dialects. But I've gotten a few of these, and like I say, young and experienced readers like these things because it gives them a better grasp on what's going on. And my thought is, if you read them at the same time. But anyway, not my thing, but still very cool. And that one will be going to the Hatter as well. Oh, let's see. Oh, yes. Um, this is a neat little volume. Narratives of Barbary Captivity. And this is a collection of 3 diaries or narratives from individuals who were pirates. No, sorry, were enslaved by the Barbary pirates of North Africa in the 17th and 18th centuries. It's a very attractive little volume. There are some inset illustrations. Never heard of this press before, Lakeside Press, but it is a neat little volume, and I'll be keeping it at least for a little while. Too cool for me to give up at least immediately, and it's one I might actually read. Um, the next one is an Everyman's Library edition of Jane Smiley's A Thousand Acres, and this could the thoughts that this particular volume brings up it'd be a whole video of me rambling. Because it asks, I think, the very appropriate question: what is a classic? And this is like I say, an everyman's library classic, and they make beautiful books, beautiful covers. The naked hardcovers are beautiful books, and I have a couple of these. Um, but this book was published in the early '90s, I believe, and it is a story, I guess, a modern retelling of King Lear, set on a farm in Iowa. A farmer and his three daughters entering into a similar kind of conflict situation you had in King Lear, where the farmer is going to give the farm to the three daughters under certain conditions, and two of the daughters enter into the agreement for selfish reasons, and a third refuses to because although she loves her father, she doesn't want to participate in his scheme. Um, I think that's probably a fairly accurate summary. But is this really a classic? This book is probably less than 25 years old. Um, uh, to my mind, no. And I don't necessarily know this is a book I'm going to read anytime soon. I probably will still keep it for a while. Um, like I say, if somebody really does a number on me and demands this book, like saying, "Hey, can I have that?" Well, yeah, I would give it up pretty quickly, I think. In the meantime, I'll keep it. Like I said, they are beautiful books. They have the ribbon bookmarks, just really well made, and this one's in immaculate condition. Let's see, where is? Yeah, we're winding down. Um, this is of course a copy of The Giver by Lois Lowry. I've hauled this many, many times, and it is a really excellent book. And I keep hauling it because the bookstore can sell this one easily. My only gripe here is whoever had this one, well, someone at some point put this little sticker. You can see a little 5 on there. I don't know what purpose that sticker serves, but it mars an otherwise really beautiful book. I particularly like this cover design for The Giver, where you have it appear as if there's a torn page, but it's really one. And of course, it's a Newbery medal winner for children's fiction. But yeah, really neat book, in fairly nice condition. But somebody's put that blasted sticker on it. Just a message to the whole world. Don't do that. Don't do that. Why are you marring a beautiful little book with a sticker that will mean nothing to anyone once it departs from your hands? That makes no sense to me. Anyway, that'll go to the Hatter. And once again, since I'm sending a bunch of the stuff to the Hatter, remember, give them a day or two after this video drops, to process it, clean it, inventory it, and all those sorts of things. They'll have it very soon. All right. The next one I found is a book I think I have. It's Yukio. Um, uh, forgive me if I get this wrong. Yukio Mishima, I think. 20th century Japanese writer. Very interesting man. But it's his novel about um, some young men who turn on their mentor, who is a sea captain, um, after well after the sea captain becomes intimately involved with with the mother of one of these young boys, or young boys. Um, Very well thought of novel. The sailor who fell from grace with the sea. Um, Not read it, but I want to. Um, broaden my horizons, I'm sure. And like I said, I think I've already got a copy of this, but I can't immediately lay hands on it, so I'm going to keep it. And eventually, whichever, and in fact, I think it's the same edition. Whichever copy that's in better shape, I'll send off to the Hatter. But beautiful book. Um, Mishima is, well, like I say, led an interesting life. He was involved in a coup to try and overthrow the Japanese government in 1970, and in fact committed seppuku, ritual self-deletion. I am on YouTube, so I better gotta be careful. Ritual self-deletion um, when that plot failed. Very interesting sounding book, beautiful book, and one I'm really want to check out. This next one is in excellent shape. Everything, almost everything, really. I can't say anything that wasn't in good shape. This is Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell is a popular nonfiction writer in the last several decades. And this book is kind of famous because it's where he first outlines his idea based on a study by a group of researchers that you need, I think, 10,000 hours of efficient practice in a skill to become a master of that skill. And of course, that probably means for most folks like 4 years of dedicated effort. But it's a book about success and how to succeed and what causes success. I'm not as big a fan of Malcolm Gladwell as I used to be, but he still has quite a following, and he does have interesting ideas. So, so I obviously picked this one up, and this one will be off to the Hatter as well very soon. Let's see. All right, next is one I'm sure I will keep, and it is book Whatever You Resolve to Be, Essays on Stonewall Jackson by A. Wilson Green. Not heard of this book. By Small Press. Probably that just does Civil War stuff because it's Butternut and Blue. Talking about the uniform colors. This one is autographed, and it's a first edition, first printing. Did a quick look for value, and it's not a particularly valuable book. Um, you can probably pick this up for less than $20. But this one is in real good shape and of direct interest to me. And this may be this. I've had several Stonewall Jackson books. Read several Stonewall Jackson books. I've only got one now. I pared down to one book. Oh, most Stonewall Jackson books are unadulterated hero worship. I'm going to read this one and see, but this may be the book I keep for my Civil War biography history shelf. Right. Let's see what else we got here. I have two more books, I believe. Uh, First one is Treasure of the Etosha. And if you're not aware of what this is, it's been a few decades now. Let's see how far back this was. But yeah, mid 80s. I was thinking it's been quite a while. This is probably the biggest Spanish treasure recovery ever made from a sunken ship. About 40-ish years ago. The Etosha was a Spanish treasure galleon that sank in a hurricane several hundred years ago, and as I said, was just recovered and reclaimed about 40-ish years ago. Um, Interested in the topic, as you can see, some beautiful gold coins there on the front cover, um, and inside some pictures of some of the relics they recovered. Some truly beautiful stuff. I remember at the time hearing the figure that the treasure of the Etosha was valued at like $500 million, $500 million, but it came at great cost. Um, there's a foreword by the head of the company that recovered the treasure, Mel Fisher. As I recall, he lost two sons trying to recover this treasure, who were killed by drowning in an accident. And this book is written by R. Duncan Mathewson III, who was the archaeologist on staff that helped guide him through this process. And of course, it has an obnoxious sticker on it I'm not probably get off eventually. Anyway, don't do that. Don't do that. Um, Particularly not on the front of the book. If you want to put on a price sticker, put it back here. Anyway, that's just my one of my pet peeves. Anyway, very interesting book. I think I'm gonna. It's not a huge book. I think I'm going to keep this one to read and uh, and then probably donate it to someone. Uh, and it might not be the store. I've got into a messaging conversation with somebody yesterday evening after I found this book, and I might see if he wants it after I read it. But like I say, great treasure hunting story, and like I say, very valuable treasure. And there's a lot to talk about as far as how we treat those things. Because it's not just valuables. It's art. It's art and it's history. And the reason I was talking to messaging with my friend about that book was because I found this and I knew this was his kind of book, um, which will go into my local history collection, the West Virginia Encyclopedia, edited by Ken Sullivan. There used to be like a true encyclopedia of West Virginia. It was in like 30 or 40 little green volumes. I had a chance to get it once, but it was going to cost me $1 a volume, and it takes up like 4 feet of shelf space. So it was like, oh, I passed. And this, as I understand, is a condensation of that original encyclopedia set. Um, yeah, everything about West Virginia. Of course, since that's where we are, it's of interest. Yeah, great big old book in really nice shape. So, yeah, Dolly Sods. West Virginia has a tundra ecosystem up in the north central mountains, and that's what that is. Um, anyway, beautiful book. Um, he inspired my friend that I had this discussion with. He helped inspire a video I did a couple of weeks ago about my regional history collection. And this will be part of that now. And and going along the theme of that other video, I did some quick research. You can get this book yourself, brand new for I'm thinking, oh, I think it's $30-ish, but you can find used copies for around 20. And so not an extremely valuable book, but valuable to me because of what it contains. Yeah, it's a wonderful book. I read a few passages yesterday about stuff in the local area and historical figures from the local area. Very, very nice, comprehensive resource. In any event, that's all the books I found, all free. Well, I made it an exchange. I think I definitely came out on the better end. I left about a dozen books and cleaned out my stash of trade books for little free libraries. But I think I did much better. What I did is I was going through. When I first, like I said, I was making this great big stack of books. I just went through with UCUBs, and it was like, oh, this feeling of, oh, should I take all this really good stuff? But anyway, I uh, I overcame it and got all this stuff. But it made me think, what best set of finds I've gotten at this particular location ever. I found some really neat stuff in this spot before, but and I've even had bigger free hauls. But this was but the well, see my video the Great Wall of Free Books. But I was like got dozens and dozens of books out of that. But but no, the thought is, well, I'm taking something somebody else might want, but I wanted it too. Um, but getting back to my thought before I lose it again, I think I know why I found so much really good stuff at this moment at this particular spot. My theory is that one or more students have left for the semester, either graduated or are going to another school or just leaving for the semester, and didn't want to haul all these books back home or wherever their next destination was. So they left it. And there was a lot of stuff that I obviously did not take from that location, including a lot of textbooks in really good shape. And those are probably situations where they couldn't trade the textbook back to the bookstore, or because it's no longer being used, or it's going to be the last semester it was used, or they had the book 2 or 3 years ago, and and that's the same situation. They can't get any money back out of it, so they just left it at the library to donate. I kind of suspect that's what happened, which tells me I need to hunt that in between, well, after the ends of semesters. After to give a week or so after the semester ends, go back and start looking for this stuff because it makes sense. Students probably got these books to use in classes, decided they didn't want to keep them, and did the right thing. They're sharing them with the world. Well, or as it turned out with me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that haul. I know I did. Like I say, some stuff to keep, some stuff to donate. Um, but a good hunt, a really good hunt. And I, getting back to the beginning of the video, I don't consider myself a criminal mastermind or even a Dean Corso. Dean Corso, of course, was the unscrupulous book dealer played by Johnny Depp in one of the classic book hunting movies, The Ninth Gate. Maybe the classic book hunting movie. Uh, but no, I don't consider myself a criminal mastermind, and at some point I need to talk to these kids. What inspired this? What do you think it is that I do? Where do you think I get these books? But anyway, with that, I will say goodbye, and just as always, be safe and good book hunting.